The From the Bench Sports Podcast, bringing you analysis, opinion, and insight into the world of sports. With your host and founder of AccessMediaGlobal.com, Mark Janisch.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for that fine introduction. That, of course, Jim Sirianni, 22-year veteran of radio in Santa Barbara, introduced me. Welcome to this edition, February 14th edition of the From the Bench podcast. Want to go ahead and cover some stuff today. First of all, I'm going to give you my comments on Jim Crane's disastrous, yes, I said disastrous, press conference. Who does he think he's kidding anyway? He thinks that the sign-stealing scandal, which tainted the Astros since 2017, didn't affect the game? What public relations officer in Houston within the Astros organization wrote that? Because, hey, you know what? Baseball purists like myself would say, yes, the game has been tainted. Now, for those of you that are unfamiliar with some baseball history, the Chicago White Sox of 1919 through the World Series games, these guys were getting kickbacks, and unfortunately, the series was tainted. So if you've seen the movie 8 Men Out, I recommend it on Netflix, your local video channel on your cable or satellite system. Please, come on, man. Who are you trying to kid, Jim Crane? This is one of the greatest stains on America's pastime, not since the gambling scandal of Pete Rose from 1985 to 1987, and possibly back to 1919, which I referenced historically. This is one of the darkest days in baseball lore, MLB baseball lore, that I've seen in a long, long time. And I just want the disingenuous Astros to stop lying to the American public. The average baseball fan is about 55 years old. It's about my age, you know, still behind the microphone, doing the job. Later in life, just want to let you guys know that totally you're being disingenuous. Now, if Jose Altuve and Alex Bregman, can come out and say what they did was wrong, that was one of the most politically correct press conferences. Well, we broke the rules. Yes, you did. Okay? This is absolutely stupid, and I feel bad for Astros fans. Matter of fact, if the truth be known about it, a couple of weeks ago, the Los Angeles City Council drew up a resolution that the Red Sox and the Houston Astros need to actually vacate their championships against the Los Angeles Dodgers. But that kind of was symbolic in a certain way. The punishments have not been levied against the against the Red Sox. However, Alex Cora did resign in disgrace over the Red Sox scandal as well. Rob Manfred's got some public relations issues to deal with. Matter of fact, I feel sorry for Dusty Baker. Not that I'm lamenting what he's done. He's had a good managerial career. I won't say he's won everywhere he's been, but he's done a pretty decent job over the years. I just want the Astros to come clean. Come on, man. If you cheat, you cheat. And baseball purists like me will say that the game has been tainted. And I'm not sure how Astro fans are going to respond, but I will say this. Any fans of the American League West, that would be Oakland, Seattle, the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, every time the Astros go on the road, they're going to be facing question after question after question. And Jose Altuve in yesterday's press conference said, we had a productive meeting. Okay, Jose, that's fine and dandy, but we'll see how you deal with the media scrutiny and the fact that some of your folks, including Jim Crane and some of your management people, couldn't bring themselves to say they actually cheated. They broke the rules. Well, that's kind of the same thing, isn't it? Or am I missing something? This is Mark Janish, your erudite and somewhat charming host of the From the Bench podcast. I want to welcome everybody. You're welcome to go to my website at accessmediaglobal.com. We're going to discuss some other stuff. We're going to talk a little bit of NBA. The All-Star break is here. How fast that happened, okay? We're going to talk about some of the teams in the Eastern and Western Conferences, maybe some of the dark horses who are a threat to the Lakers. And I had some concerns about the Los Angeles Clippers, which I'll get to later. But the fact that Paul George pulled another hamstring, I don't know, load management, all this stuff the Clippers have been trying to do, 37-18, coming in third in the Western Conference as far as at the two-thirds mark of the season, about 52, 53 games or so in the books for the NBA season. That's a whole nother story, but we'll talk about that too. Want to also give an announcement locally. The local mid-major UC Santa Barbara Gauchos. They're an enigma. This university is an enigma. I don't know what took so long, but A.D. John McCutcheon finally got the $200,000 together. Took him years. Matter of fact, when the Gauchos went to the regional in 2000, I believe it's 2015, they had to rent. Okay, they had to go 175 miles to the home of the minor league Class High A team of the San Diego Padres, the Lake Elsinore Storm. 175 miles. They lost to Virginia and USC in pretty short order. Virginia being the, I believe Virginia was in the national championship game. I believe they might have actually won it in 2015. You have to check me on that, all you fact checkers out there. But Virginia and USC, UCSB was the host school. But why they couldn't host a game on the campus of UC Santa Barbara, the only campus in the 10 university UC system with a beach, 1,055 beautiful acres, Caesar Usica Stadium, hosts of, various college cups. No, that's actually Harder Stadium. Sorry about that. Caesar Usica Stadium. The Gauchos even went to the College World Series in 2016, made a historic run. They actually last year, they won 45 games, their first Big West title since 1986. 45 wins, 45-9, and then they actually did not advance to any one of the super regionals. They kind of exited quickly, shall we say. Andrew Chekets in his 8th year has some good news. Even though he's lost about 10 players from the 2019 team, the UC Santa Barbara Gauchos picked to finish 4th by the media pool that covers Big West baseball here. They have lights. Miracle of miracles. There's actually going to be night games at Caesar Usica Stadium. The long wait is over. Today's games are going to be broadcast on UCSBGauchos.com. What I do is go to the baseball page and go to the schedule, and you'll be able to hear audio only broadcast brought to you by one of the parent broadcasting entities of Sacramento State University. The first 3-game series is happening this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday night, the first night game, first of 23 night games, people, at Caesar Usica Stadium. This has been one of the longest awaited situations that I've seen in a long time. Kudos to John McCutcheon. The UCSB Gauchos, they boast some nice graduates. Jim Rome, Gwyneth Paltrow, Harris Faulkner, and others. I just feel like, it's a time of celebration. 5:30, first pitch, Monday against the Pac-12. UC Berkeley, the Cal Bears, visit Caesar Usyka for the first night game ever at Caesar Usyka Stadium. And then, the other thing is, I said UCSB's an enigma. Well, the UCSB men's basketball team, led by Joe Pasternak, 45-19 going into the year, lost to eventual champion UCI in the first round of the Big West tournament last year at Honda Center in Anaheim, California. Despite the fact that 6'2" sharpshooting guard Max Heidegger scored 27 of his 31 points in the second half. UCSB fell to the Aggies of UC Davis last night, and that's a situation where the Gauchos had just come off a win against Hawaii and UCI, the top two teams in the Big West Conference at this point. I would expect and would hope to see more out of transfer Ja'Cory McLaughlin, who transferred from Oregon State. 45-19. The Gauchos 5-5 and 16-9 overall this year. So that gives me 45-16 is 61 and 28, 61 victories. 3 years in a row. Coach Pasternak has won 20-plus games. Glossy record, but I have some concerns regarding this team, and one of them is Ja'Cory McLaughlin. The UCSB Gauchos will be playing the Cal State Fullerton team next week, Thursday, the 20th. So they played their only game this week. The Gauchos need to be doing better going into the Big West tournament because it's all about positioning and seeding and who you play and who you don't play and all this stuff. So the Jim Crane press conference, the full presser, the link goes to Fox Austin, Texas, Channel 7. So you'll be referred to that site. You'll be able to run the whole tape and tell me whether Jim Crane is out of touch, which I think he is. We'll see how the aforementioned 2017 champions respond this year going into that. And we've discussed UC Santa Barbara, the good and the bad at UC Santa Barbara for this week anyway. And then the other thing I have available, this is the first time in 40 years that Los Angeles will host the Major League Baseball All-Star Game, July 14th, 2020. Mark it down, Angelinos. Mark it down, Dodger Nation. Want to have you guys support this. The Dodgers are also doing some more extensive remodeling of the stadium. But speaking of remodeling, the Los Angeles Dodgers have acquired 27-year-old Mookie Betts. When Mookie Betts was last seen, he was in a Boston Red Sox uniform. Unfortunately, they had to absorb another contract, a 34-year-old aging pitcher, David Price. Hopefully, they're going to be able to do something with that pitching staff. Now, the problem is that Rich Hill and Kenta Maeda, 2/5 of your starting 5 pitching rotation, have left. They're going to be toiling for the Minnesota Twins. And that's great for the Minnesota Twins. They probably need the pitching. But the fact of the matter is, the Dodgers have some pitching replacements to do. I don't know if Dustin May will turn out, but with spring training just days away here, pitchers and catchers reporting here in the next week, we'll see what Dave Roberts, thank you. Dave Roberts, the manager of the Los Angeles Dodgers, does. So right now, the Dodgers need to be aware that those two starting pitchers need to be available. But boy, this is a powerful lineup. But if you score 5 and give up 7, you're going to be still losing the game. And the Dodgers have a lot of work to do, in the sense that the last time we saw the Dodgers, Clayton Kershaw was giving up fat pitches, and the likes of Howie Kendrick was hitting the ball over the wall, the center field wall at Dodger Stadium. So we'll see what happens with the aforementioned Clayton Kershaw. He's going to have to carry that staff. I don't know if he can do it with the recent injuries he's had, but we'll see. We'll see what happens in this case. And last but not leastly, one of the posts that's up that I just put up for you is Richard Deitch podcast, and he interviews this week in episode 87 of the Richard Deitch Sports Media Podcast folks who are on pit road and broadcast for Fox NASCAR. And what is coming up here in the next few days, I believe it's this weekend, the Daytona 500. So all you NASCAR fans, you want to tune into that link. That link is now up at accessmediaglobal.com. And I'm going to go ahead and we're going to talk some basketball. The other thing that's up as we move into talking about some hoops right now is the Clippers and Celtics double overtime loss. 37-18, Clippers of Los Angeles. They're in the third position right now, 37-18. 5 games behind the front-running Los Angeles Lakers. 41-12, Laker Nation. 28-6 in the conference. 18-7 at home. 23-5 on as far as the away games go. 7 out of the last 10, and they've won 3 in a row. We're going to address the Clippers in just a couple moments. Want to not forget the Denver Nuggets, an up-and-coming team for the last couple of years. Like them a lot. Nikola Jokic and Murray are excellent players. Looks like the Nuggets are solidly in second place, 38-17. 4 games behind the front-running Lakers. 25-9 in the conference, 21-7 at home at the Pepsi Center, and 17-10 away. They've lost a game, but 7 out of the last 10 they've won. The Clippers. Now, I have some concerns about the Clippers over and above Paul George and his hamstring problem, which he's been battling that all season. He was not playing for a couple weeks, and the Clippers are trying to do the load management thing, similar to what the Raptors did as far as the playoffs go, but they're 5 games out. And then the Utah Jazz and Quinn Snyder, formerly of Washington's Mercer Island High School. Great player in his high school days, as many Washingtonian will profess. 36-18. The Utah Jazz having a great year with Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell, among others. Okay, 36-18, holding down the 4 slot, and the first 4 folks will, the first 4 teams, seeded teams, will be getting the home court advantage. The Rockets, Mike D'Antoni, 34-20, 14 games over 500, 21-16 in the conference, 20-5 at home, 16-13 on the road. Then the Oklahoma City Thunder with Chris Paul and Steven Adams and Gilchrist, a very good young player, 33-22, 9 games behind the Lakers in slot number 6. The Dallas Mavericks with Porzingis Kristaps Porzingis, among others, 33 and 22 as well, tied for that. They're currently in the 7th slot by seeding. And then, of course, Ja Morant and the Grizzlies of Memphis, 28 and 26, couple games over 500, holding down slot number 8. The defending Western Conference champions need to pick it up. The Portland Trail Blazers are in 9th place. They're at a point where they got to make a run. Matter of fact, if you looked at it, they would be out of the playoffs. But those are the top 8 seeds in the Western Conference right now. Once again, the Lakers in first position, the Nuggets at number 2, the Clippers at number 3, the Jazz at number 4, the Rockets at number 5, the Thunder at number 6, the Mavericks in the 7th slot, and the Grizzlies in the 8th. And, of course, if the playoffs started today, which they do not, the Lakers would be opening with the Grizzlies of Memphis. The Nuggets would be playing the Mavericks. The Clippers in the number 3 slot would be playing the Oklahoma City Thunder. The number 4 Jazz and Donovan Mitchell, they'd be playing with the James Harden and the Houston Rockets and dealing with Mike D'Antoni in that circumstance. Turning to the Eastern Conference. Ladies and gentlemen, Giannis Antetokounmpo. Didn't get to see him the other night when the Bucks played on national TV. 46 wins, 8 losses, 28 and 4 in the conference, 25 and 3 at home, and 21 and 5 away. They've won 8 of their last 10. They're not on a winning streak at this time. Now, speaking of winning streaks, a recent 15-game winning streak by the defending NBA champion Toronto Raptors was recently stopped. I believe the Boston Celtics beat them. But the combined record of the teams they did this 15-game win streak on, winning percentage of .409. So we have the Raptors in second place. Jason Tatum did a real number on the Los Angeles Clippers last night in their win. I do have the Clipper highlights, by the way, to see that. I have the full highlights posted at accessmediaglobal.com. So if you want to see those highlights, you can certainly do that. The Celtics at number 3, 38 and 16 is what I see here. 8 games behind the Milwaukee Bucks. And then, of course, one of the really interesting teams with Tyler Hero, among others, and I guess Jimmy Butler's with the Heat. The Heat. Now, the Heat are an interesting bunch because they like to shoot from the outside of them. 3 balls and the whole 9 with that shooting. So if their shooting holds up, they're at number 4, 35 and 19. Joel Embiid and the Philadelphia 76ers, despite the fact that the 76ers are terrible on the road. They've won like 25 games. They're like 25, 26 and 2 at home. But they've done terrible on the road. So that's why they're 34 and 21, holding down slot number 5 at this point. 22 and 14 in the conference, 25 and 2 at home, 9 and 19 on the road. So Brett Brown better, somehow find a way to get that road thing turned around, because they're in the 5th slot. The top 4 teams, they'd be on the outside looking in the sense that the top 4 teams, of course, will get home field advantage in the playoffs. Number 6, the Indiana Pacers, 32 and 23, 14 and a half games out. The New Jersey Nets, depends on how Kyrie Irving is going to play. They're 3 games under 500 in the 7th slot. And then the Orlando Magic, not playing stellar ball right now. 24 wins, 31 losses, but in a weakened Eastern Conference, they'd be holding down the 8th position. And on the outside looking in would be the Washington Wizards. But that's where we are as far as the NBA standings. We go into the All-Star break for about a week, and we have some of the events regarding the All-Star game in Chicago this year, a very frigid Chicago. Not the case here in Southern California, but we want to actually just encourage you to take in the fact that this is a great era of basketball as far as young talent, and some of these younger teams on the rise. That would be the Nuggets, in my estimation, and so forth. So what I'd like for you guys to do is just enjoy the break. I want to encourage you to enjoy the events surrounding the basketball All-Star break, including, I think, I'm not sure if it's tonight or tomorrow, the celebrity games. I personally like the skills competition, the three-point shooting contest, of course, the ever-popular dunk contest. Don't know who the participants are going to be, so I'll be as surprised as you. But remember last year, Joe Harris, a relative unknown for the New Jersey Nets, won the three-point competition. Former alum of Washington State Cougarland, the university out of Pullman, Washington, won the three-point shooting contest. So looking forward to that. And, this about wraps up the edition of the From the Bench podcast for today. I will say this. This is a labor of love. I enjoy doing the podcast, but what I'd like for you guys to do is just consider strongly if you want this broadcast to continue. I need your support as far as financially. So what you can do is you can go to accessmediaglobal.com. It's very easy. You have a PayPal account. You can click donate on the appropriate credit or debit card situation that you have. Every dollar is going to help to defray the expenses of this thing, which we call the From the Bench podcast. So if you value the From the Bench podcast, we're going to give you an opportunity at the end of this broadcast and some information regarding how you can support the broadcast. For now, February 14th, 2020, I'm Mark Janish, thanking you for listening to this edition of the From the Bench podcast. Have a great weekend and enjoy the rest of your sports day. Thanks for listening, everyone.
Thank you for listening to the From the Bench Sports Podcast. You can listen to this and any other podcast episode on Libsyn, Stitcher Radio, and Spotify. If you'd like to support the From the Bench Podcast, you may go to the accessmediaglobal.com website and click on the Donate tab.